Righto, let's get back into the South Australian trip, and we should have enough pictures to have less of my head and more moving pictures, which makes anything more attractive. So we left Kimba, we're back in late July now. Of course I tried to photograph and video this rather impressive wall mural at the sports ground. I guess it might double as the showgrounds too, I don't know. So I tried to capture that, for want of a better word, into the sun. So I've got a bit of natural lens flare, but to me it doesn't add too much. Some folks do good things with lens flare. I'm not one of those folks. Got a bit of fuel and then got out on the big road, the Eyre highway. Perth, Adelaide, Sydney, I guess Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, and headed for Streaky Bay. Streaky Bay would be our destination for a couple of nights. Who knows, maybe we should have gone to Ceduna and then back down through Smoky Bay to Streaky Bay and down the west coast of the Eyre Peninsula. But that's how it ended up, that's how we rolled. There are some people on the road that shouldn't be on the road. So I guess the Eyre highway I would describe as a little undulating, not big hills, but just up and down, up and down. First guy that tries to take me is in an AB triple, and I'm doing 100 by the speedo in the car, and testing that I've done tells me that speedo's about 2 slower than actual, so I'm probably rumbling along at 98. So halfway up one of these undulations, this guy just pulls out his AB triple. He had no chance at all. My policy always is anyway. If you get out beside me, once you get out, I'll just back off 20 odd Ks an hour and let you go. So if I hadn't done that, there would have been a huge head on because he had nowhere to go. We had nowhere to go, and we would have been involved, and he nearly had one anyway. And you look at these trucks and you think, you know, line haul stuff, trailers pretty uncared for. However, a few hills later, Aussie guy towing a caravan. I've been watching him in the rearview mirrors for a while. I knew he was coming hard. Does the same thing, halfway up an undulation, just out he goes and away he goes. And I backed off, as I do, because I don't want to be in an accident. There was nothing behind me, so he was it, let him go. Just odd things. If you're on an impossible schedule, then you just got to get out of that job, I'm afraid. Through a few interesting towns, Caravan, Ceduna. I would pronounce it differently, but that's how we heard it pronounced on the radio, so I'm going to go with that. Yanani, didn't hear it pronounced on the radio, so I'm probably wrong there. And Minapa, also didn't hear it pronounced on the radio, so probably wrong there. Just small towns, and we're driving along what would be known as a low rainfall wheat and sheep growing area. More low rainfall for the wheat or grains, whatever else they grow there. Landscape's dotted with Viterra silos, Viterra clearly the big player in the game, right through the areas we drove through, South Australia in any case. So Caravan, population about 80, Ceduna, I think 1300, Yanani about 80, Minapa about 180. Now all of these towns are bits of gateways to the Gawler Ranges, and out there you can see South Australia's version of the wave rock, basically chunks of granite being exposed to the weather for a long time and form nice shapes, or different shapes. Also, one of these towns, and I know I wrote it down somewhere and I can't find it, was the National Backyard Cricket Champion. Now that was some promotion, Channel 9, what have we. But I found it interesting, and I can't find it anywhere. I don't know which one it is, but one of those 3-4 towns. Road wasn't too busy. We thought we might have been able to buy lunch. Must have been in Minapa. We must have thought it was too early. In Ceduna, that was the biggest town we went through. Bit of a shop there in Minapa, but it was closed, so we made ourselves a sandwich after we had a look at the information board there. Ceduna is probably Ceduna is the biggest town that we went through on this particular road, and it has this big farmers monument, or monument to farmers. Some time gone into this, I can tell you, it's a big show. Also of interest was the copyright notice on it, and you see it, I think there's one on the Sydney Opera House. You can't, for example, a rough example would be go and take some pictures of Sydney Opera House, make a calendar and sell a heap of calendars. So you can't really do that. So I'm guessing this is the same. Haven't looked into it, but copyright's fairly broad law.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change.
I got down to Streaky Bay and settled in at, I think it was Discovery Parks. Fairly expansive operation, and you could park up from right down on the foreshore to just normally sites. Got a bit of astro done at Streaky Bay. Not a lot, certainly not perfect, too much light, but just jagged a little bit just to see if I could still do it. It's been that long. On our full day in Streaky Bay, we headed off on a bit of a drive to places like Halley's Beach, Whistling Rocks and the Blowholes. And if you listen here in this particular clip, and you got to be there at the right time, the tide's got to be right, you can hear the force of the waves blowing the air back up through the underground cavern, cave, tunnel, whatever you want to call it. Certainly been a change in flora. It's a rather arid coastline with quite hardy plants, and of course it was windy. It's always windy. Whipped back into town we had lunch at the pub, and then we went for another drive down to Seal Bay and Point Labat, or Point Labat again. I should have checked the pronunciation, but I didn't, so I'm not sure which one of those two, or if there's another one that it is. So down there at Point Labat, there is an Australian seal colony, protected of course, and just more of these limestone type cliffs way up above the beach, and the beach would be part of the Great Australian Bight. So the water we're looking at is part of the Southern Ocean. Is it the Southern Ocean or the Great Southern Ocean?
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the news off. You cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the...
Wonderful bakery in Streaky Bay. We fought the urge to get a pie and a sausage roll and just grabbed a loaf of bread. It wasn't open on the Sunday, which was our full day in town, which is fine. You don't sell enough, you don't open. That's how life is. We grabbed a loaf of bread for the road as we headed out of Streaky Bay after 2 nights there. There was a wicked sunrise across Streaky Bay on the morning we were leaving. Wasn't going to go out, but as it intensified, I hurriedly got out and grabbed something from the bay. Plenty of evidence of farming, wheat farming, or grain growing, but it's going to be predominantly wheat. Farmed as close to the beach as possible. It's uphill, down dale, and as far as you can. It's interesting farming systems, and interesting what is considered arable country in South Australia as to what would be considered arable country here in Queensland and a little further south in New South Wales, for example. And they grow a lot of grain down there, there's no two ways about that. Vastly different rainfall profiles, moisture profiles and soil types. Anyway, that's Kimba to Streaky Bay, and we'll move on down the western side of the Eyre Peninsula as we seek out silo art and other different stuff, I guess. Oh, we're on the move again.